You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Chiro Moguls, Zingit Solutions, Dr. Pete Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Rhino Coaching, 5-Star Management, The Goodman Factor, Chiro Health USA, Max, Mahalo Wellness, and Chiro Expert. Let's hustle. Good morning, everybody. This is Jim Chester, and this is a morning edition of the Chiro Hustle live stream. Today I have Yellin on with Cinduit, and this is titled Cinduit and Hustle, the Year of Automation with Chiropractic Marketing. And we have a webinar that we're going to be launching here shortly on July 9th. And it's going to be really awesome. But we have a few topics we're going to discuss today. But before we get too far into this, I just want to thank Jared for being on as my guest today.
Thank you, my friend. What's up, Chiro Hustle community? Excited to be here. Excited to hustle with all of you. I'm excited to mobilize chiropractic. I mean, I've been in the profession now for 14 years as a layperson, and I think there's been some progress, but not enough. I'm sure we would all agree. And I'm pumped up, I'm fired up, and I'm committed to help all of you get your message out there in an even bigger way.
Yeah. And, you know, with me being the host of this movement is I just wanted to really align the stars for chiropractic and connect the dots. And I think that was one of the spots that was really missing within chiropractic was people that were outside of the chiropractic brick and mortars that weren't chiropractors, that were passionate promoters that could share the chiropractic message with the masses. And I saw that there was a missing link in chiropractic, and that was promotion, marketing, and sales. And obviously chiropractors come out of school and they're the most gifted healers on planet Earth. They've gone through schooling for maybe like 7 to 9 years in order to adjust the vertebrae to remove the subluxation, allowing the body to heal naturally, which I was just blown away with when I heard about what was happening with chiropractic. And then I started studying what was going on after they got the diploma. And honestly, after the diploma, the self-esteem starts to plummet.
Yeah.
Because the things that me and you and I know, they don't know. So I'm not saying like, hey, I'm throwing rocks at chiropractors for not knowing what they don't know, but now we have solutions. And that's one of the things I wanted to touch on first with you is the solution of how we can teach them to roll out a year-long of marketing campaign to be able to grow their businesses and to take their time back into their brick and mortars and take care of people better. So let's talk about the first topic that we're going to discuss today, and that's automation through a year-long campaign.
100%. So here's the reality, right? As a chiropractor, we all know that the patient that's going to get the greatest outcome is the one that's going to commit to the lifestyle called chiropractic, right? That means they're coming in, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly, depending on what their needs are, but they're coming in on a regular basis. They're not just coming in sporadically, because if you come in sporadically, you get sporadic outcomes. One of the things that I've seen just working with tens of thousands of chiropractors for over a decade is that that's what you preach. It's just not what you live. And where you're not living it is with your marketing. Chiropractors are sporadic marketers at best. They're trying to build their business on defense, and that's just simply impossible. So what you need is a marketing plan. You actually need an annual marketing plan, the same way that you encourage your practice members to commit to a year's worth of care. And you're not just doing that because it's a better business model, it's a better life model. Like their life will dramatically improve if they commit for the whole year. The same way that you as a chiropractor need to commit to having an annual marketing plan. That means 12 months of education and relationship-based marketing. Because here's reality. Everybody wants what you offer. I've been saying this for over a decade. Everybody wants what you offer. They do. They want to have vitality. They want to have energy. They want to have vibrant children. They don't want to take aspirin when they have a headache or pain. They don't want to have tubes put in their child's ear. They just don't know any other way. So what they're doing is the only path that they know of right now, because you're the best kept secret in your community. But what I also know to be true, because we're supporting thousands of chiropractors right now, is the chiropractors that commit to having a 12-month marketing plan filled with education and relationship-based marketing, they're no longer a secret. They're actually the beacon of hope in their community when it comes to the health for individual people and also for families as well. So let's talk about what is an annual marketing plan? Because this is something that I personally have worked on for years, trying to figure out the ingredients. Like, what are the pieces of a plan? Because for those who don't know, I launched Synduit 8 years ago in my apartment. This was this tiny little startup company. I mean, I had a huge vision. I had no money and I had no team. So in the beginning, it was just me, and it scaled like overnight. We really weren't one of those like multi-year scaling companies. This was like within a few months, we had a huge office and a giant team, and we were serving hundreds and hundreds of businesses, and we were growing out of control. I mean, literally, I felt like this company was exploding just by the seat of my pants. Like, and one day I had this realization, which was the only way to ever really scale this was if we had an annual marketing plan. We needed a marketing plan in place at our foundation, so there was just more predictability and visibility for me and for my family and for everybody on our team as well, that were just kind of burning. And over a 6-month time frame, I locked myself in my office for 2 to 3 hours every day just to figure out what are the pieces and the ingredients of a plan. Like, what are the absolute essential things? And I created this concept called the 12-4-2-2-2. This is the annual marketing plan formula. So I want to dig into this if you're game on.
Yeah, man. And the thing is I want to just touch on one thing is I did the same thing when we wrote our first movie. Is I lived in a place, I locked myself into my room, and I storyboarded out this concept that was going to educate the masses on what chiropractic really was from a non-deceased perspective. And that's what we did with Chiropractic, the documentary. I know like later on in this Facebook Live, we're going to discuss our second movie and how people can actually use that for marketing as well. And I think marketing is very confusing when it comes to, like you said, so sporadic. People just don't follow a very smooth system when they're out there like creating their automation, or they're doing their their core like events, or they're doing like community events like I teach people how to do, or you teach people this automation, the 12-2-4-4.
12-4-2-2-2.
Okay, so let's talk about the 12-4-2-2-2.
Awesome. So on the surface, this is going to freak all of you out, but when we start digging into the simplicity when it comes to implementation, it's actually going to blow your mind. Because one of the things that I've seen is that chiropractors as a whole, they just love to educate. They love to inspire people. They love that. But what they don't love to do are the pieces that lead up to the education. They don't love sitting down and creating flyers. They don't love putting together PowerPoint presentations. They don't love assembling newsletters and writing email copy, but they love adjusting. And they love educating and inspiring. So look at the 12-4-2-2-2 as your opportunity to educate and inspire so that you can adjust more. And then we'll talk about the simplicity around implementation in a bit. But 12 is the number of webinars that you should, as a practitioner, commit to each year. That means one webinar every month for 30 to 45 minutes where you're going to position yourself as an expert on a specific subject. It could be condition-based. It could be lifestyle-based. You decide what resonates, but pick 12 topics that you're going to educate on. Now, you might say to yourself, why is that even important? So here's the deal. Every year, I do about 150 to 170 webinars. Every year, and I've been doing this for years, and it's the way that I've scaled Synduit. But the reason I do them is because it's the fastest way to build expert status. I've never found any strategy that allows you to establish yourself as an expert faster than committing to one webinar each month, but it goes even deeper than that. When you do a webinar, let's say you're doing a webinar on opiate awareness or on ear infections or on chiropractic care for children or aging gracefully or any of the variety of topics that you love to educate and inspire on, what happens is at the end of that webinar, you have a video file. And that video file is now an asset for you. And you can take that video file and you can now create your own YouTube channel. And once it's on YouTube, you can actually embed that video directly to your website. So you have a video gallery on your website. Now, why is that even important in the first place? Because here's what I can guarantee. You're going to be online at Whole Foods one day, just waiting in line to pay. And the person behind you is going to start up a conversation with you. And they're going to talk about something going on in their life, whether they're suffering from a condition or a lifestyle or stress, whatever it might be. And in that very moment, you're going to tell that person, you're not going to believe it. 6 months ago, I did a webinar on that exact topic. What's your name and email? And when I get home tonight, I'm going to send you the replay of the webinar on that exact topic. And then either myself or my staff will follow up with you tomorrow to answer any of your questions. Do you think there's a chance they're going to come into your practice? It's guaranteed. I mean, you're in an industry as a chiropractor where webinars are the norm. I mean, everybody's doing webinars to you. But realize lay people are not in that industry. No one's doing this to them. So now this just establishes you as an authority. And it goes even further. If you wanted to launch a podcast, but you don't know how, that webinar is a video file that can easily be converted into an audio file. And now you have a podcast episode. And if you really wanted to, you can convert the audio file into a transcription really inexpensively. And now you have your own white paper that you can put on your website, all because you committed to doing one webinar each month for 30 to 45 minutes on a specific subject. And at the end of the year, your video library is going to be 10 to 12 hours long. I mean, do you know how valuable that is? Many of you are considering trying to start selling things online, like information products. Well, what if you just packaged your 12 webinars and there you go. You have your own educational library that you can start offering your practice members and your community. So the 12 is the number of webinars that you commit to year by year. The next number is 4. This is the number of in-person workshops that you host in your community each year. Now, if you feel like you can handle more than that, I mean, all the power goes to you, but I'm focusing on the lowest common denominator here. I want to make something that's feasible for everybody. I'd rather see you do a quarterly workshop that dominates than doing a monthly workshop that's just mediocre. I'd rather see you go all in to make that quarterly event monumental than trying to do this every single week and just burning yourself out after a month, okay? So it's quarterly workshops on education topics that you are an expert on, whether it's condition-based or lifestyle-based. This is your chance to connect with people in person. The only downside of a webinar is you don't know how people are resonating with your message. You can't see them. You don't know where you're really interesting and you don't know where you're really boring. You don't know where they're hyper engaged and you don't know where they're incredibly distracted. But when you're doing a workshop physically in front of people, either at your office or in a restaurant or the library or the Chamber of Commerce or anywhere that you're going to host this experience, this gives you a chance to absolutely perfect your message and also your story as well. In addition to that, you're going to record yourself. You're going to have a video camera in the back of the room. And like an athlete, you're going to watch yourself present afterwards so that you can start to really refine your message and your presentation skills. But here's what's also really cool. Public speaking is the number one fear in the world. The fact that you're doing this, no one's doing this. I mean, less than 0.1% of businesses are doing quarterly workshops. The fact that you're doing this just establishes you as an authority out of the gates. Plus, that video is now something you're going to put on YouTube, which then is in the video library on your website. And it's another way to deliver as an education-based marketer. So 4 times a year, commit to doing workshops on topics that you're an absolute expert in. Let's now transition to the 2. This is where we're going to start moving from education-based marketing to relationship-based marketing. And realize we're only going to talk like 20 minutes. This is like a 7-hour workshop that I give, and I'm just condensing so you get the concept. And we'll go deeper during our webinar in a few weeks. But the next number is 2. 2 is the number of appreciation experiences that you're going to host each year. Patient appreciation experiences. Here's what I know to be true. Nearly every chiropractic practice that I've ever seen and ever worked with, and that's thousands and thousands of chiropractors, they have what I call a revolving door-based practice, which means one new patient comes in the door that you really work hard to get, and another one leaves out the back door just as quickly. And that means your practice doesn't grow. I mean, I see this all the time when I haven't gone to chiropractic seminars recently, but I used to go and I see chiropractors pounding their chest. I get 30 new patients every month. I get 50 new patients every month. That means that over the course of the year, you're getting 600 new patients. Then why is your business not growing? It's because at the same time, you're losing 600 patients, right? So when you can start to have your practice members feel that sense of gratitude that you have for them, when you can create a sense of community inside of your practice, because they're all cut from that common cloth, which is you, that's stickiness. This is where we start to transition from education-based marketing to relationship-based marketing, which is so critical for you. So what is a patient appreciation experience? It's literally a party. Twice a year, you go all out. I love when chiropractors host award ceremonies for their practice members. I love when they do healthy potluck meals. I love when they do kids days. I love when they do things that are fun and exciting. Maybe it's a healthy happy hour. Maybe it's a smoothie event. Maybe it's an event on chiropractic's birthday. We always create a campaign around that every single year. One year we actually hand drew BJ and DD. It was awesome. And it was a campaign that hundreds or maybe even thousands of chiropractors used. It was amazing. But that's what you need to do twice a year. Have no ulterior motive. Literally go all in and appreciate on the people that have made your business possible. Because without your patients, you have no business. And I mean no ulterior motive. It's not like you're doing this because you think they're going to invite guests and you're going to get new patients. I mean, that's going to happen regardless, but you're doing this to honor and appreciate, and you should invest some money into this. Make this an absolute memorable party that people talk about for the next 6 months until you do it again. So twice a year, that's the first two, you're going to do an appreciation experience. The next two, this is also relationship-based marketing. You're going to go all in twice a year and host a referral program. That means 30 days where your monomaniacal focus as an entire team is to get each one of your active patients to refer one person to you in that month. And what happens if it works, Jim? Everybody just doubled their practice that month. Literally, imagine that. How amazing. Intentional referral-based marketing. I hate when I speak with business owners and they say, oh, I have a referral-based practice. I don't need to market. And then I ask them, what do you do to generate referrals? Nothing. You need to manufacture referrals. You need to make it a focus. So for 2 months a year, you're going all in, and I call it the power of one. One of the things that I've seen is that most businesses, they do referral marketing all wrong. Either they're not asking for referrals at all, which is a total disservice, or they're making referrals a homework assignment. Years ago, I went to see a functional medicine practitioner. He was an amazing practitioner. And I had nothing wrong. I like to hack my health. I'm like, what will give me more energy and more clarity? And I'm already under chiropractic care for 14 years every single week. So I'm like, I just want more. I just want more. And I sat down with this functional medicine practitioner. He put together this whole program. It was awesome. And after a few weeks, he had that courage. And he said to me, Jared, can you refer anyone you know to my business that will benefit from my services? And in that moment, Jim, I'm like, yeah, hell's yeah, I'm gonna refer everybody. And then I got in the car and I'm like, he just gave me a homework assignment. I mean, like, I probably know 150 people that I can refer to this dude. Am I gonna literally sit down and every day make phone calls and be like, hey, go see this? No, so I referred nobody. It was a homework assignment. So that's how to do referral marketing wrong. Either don't ask or make it a homework assignment. But what if twice a year, your monomaniacal focus was to have a conversation through email, text, social, one-on-one, print with every practice member. And this was the dialogue. I am doubling my impact in July of 2019. Who is one person you know that can benefit from our practice the same way you have? And how can you connect me with this person within the next 24 hours? Because I want to make sure that this person that you love and care about so deeply is able to experience our practice as we double our impact. Well, what if it works? You just doubled your business in that 30-day time frame. This is not theoretical. We've been doing this stuff for years. So twice a year, referral-based marketing. But here's why that's so important. Referral-based marketing is a win, win, win. And you're the third win as the chiropractor. The first win is the person doing the referring. Because here's what I know is true. The patient that's going to refer to you has a sense of obligation to give back to you because they haven't paid you enough for what you've given them. You've given them life, you've given them vitality, you gave their kids life. So they want to find a way to help you. So when you focus on the power of one, they're highly motivated to help you because this is a way that they can pay you back for all that you've done for them. But it goes even beyond that. Everybody loves to help people that they care about. So this is their chance to help someone that they love. That's the first win, is for the person doing the referring. The second win is the person that's being referred, because now their life is going to transform and they're being referred with this baseline, which is my friend or family member had their life transformed. I'm ready for my transformation. That's the second win. You're the third win. So if you don't ask for the referral, you're selfish because it's nothing to do with you. It has to do with the person doing the referring, then the person being referred, and then it's for you. So that's literally what it is. Twice a year, 30-day monomaniacal focus, and you run referral programs and make them fun and thematic. They can tie into the holidays. They can tie into chiropractic's birthday. I mean, you can do a lot of fun things with this.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Chiro Moguls, Zingit Solutions, Dr. Pete Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Rhino Coaching, 5-Star Management, The Goodman Factor, Chiro Health USA, Max, Mahalo Wellness, and Chiro Expert. Let's hustle.
The final two is a total new strategy in chiropractic. We started to deploy this probably about a year ago is when we started to see this work. It's online health challenges. Yeah, 14-day challenges where you invite your practice members, their friends and their family, people in your community, other leaders in your community to commit to a 14-day process. So it could be a 14-day posture challenge. It could be a 14-day water challenge. It could be a 14-day remove sugar from your lifestyle challenge. There's all different fun themes, but it's 14 days. That's what we have found works best. We've tried 7 days. We've tried 30 days. 14 days is the perfect amount of time. And the reason this works so well is because this will create a community for you on Facebook. So many chiropractors are complaining about the algorithms on Facebook and this and that. And I'm like, just ignore all of that and just go deep and build a community and create a closed Facebook group and invite people that are interested in the subject matter into that group. And now the algorithms don't matter anymore because they're in a group. They've actually expressed an interest to hear from you. So that's what a 14-day challenge is. It's an opportunity for you to market a process where people are going to start and finish together. This is combining education and relationship-based marketing into one. And every day of that 14-day process, you're going to post one time in that group something action-oriented. So if it's for posture, it's a tip, it's a trick, it's a strategy that they can deploy that day to improve their posture. And every day for 14 days, you're going to post these tips, tricks, and strategies. And what's going to happen is at the end of the 14 days, their posture is going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. And they're going to have gone through the process together as a group, as a community. And the coolest part is that your role is probably the actually least important because now this whole group is actually communicating with each other. So every day when you post, they're actually communicating with one another. They're supporting each other. They're celebrating each other. They're motivating each other. And you get all the credit because you're the one that spearheaded that challenge. So that's the 12-4-2-2-2. It's 12 webinars. It's 4 workshops, 2 appreciation experiences, 2 referral programs, and 2 online challenges. You might say to yourself, Jared, love it in theory, but that is an enormous undertaking for me. And I get it. It completely is. And that's exactly why we built Synduit. And I encourage you to register for the webinar because during our webinar, which is only a few weeks away, I'm going to show you how to implement your 12-4-2-2-2 in under 60 minutes for the whole year. And that's not marketing hype. That's something that tens of thousands of businesses have already done before you inside of our very simple solution. And that's what I want for you as well. So I know I just completely monopolized this, man, but you got me started, Jim, and I just couldn't stop.
Well, I feel really blessed to have you on as a guest today because obviously people know that I get the best in the business and I can bring on people that can shine a spotlight on what to do for their marketing strategies and for any solution that they need. So that's really the power of hustle. And that's why when Katie reached out to me and she's like, hey, Jared wants to do something with you. I was like, heck yeah, I want to work with that guy. I saw what you were doing. And I was like, well, if he can do this for so many, what is it, like 35,000 businesses that you guys help? I mean, if you can do 35,000 businesses with these strategies, then there's at least 35,000 chiropractors that need what you do that aren't working with you already. And I was like, man, if this is a no-brainer, we created a film. I know that's one of the topics we're going to talk about here in a minute, but I mean, there's so many people out there that are suffering with understanding how it is to create one webinar. Like there's people out there that probably 2 years ago said, man, I should create a webinar. And you know who that is? Me. That's me. So I'm just like everybody else. And that's the thing is most people don't see is I'm just like them. You're just like them. But when you figure something out, that's the blessing and that's the gift. And that's why what you're telling people is what I do best is I create community events. And that's one aspect of this, but you have to learn how to bridge the community event into the brick and mortar with the digital prospecting. So there's different levels of communication and strategy. And that's what I love most about Synduit is now you guys are building communities with consistent systems that build a strategy for business growth. And there's not one person that wouldn't benefit from that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say one of my motivations, and the audience is going to love this. So my stepfather's a chiropractor. I don't know if you know that, but he's been practicing for over 40 years. I mean, he's like the original chiropractor. Like through and through. He's amazing. And before he started using Conduit, he was using MailChimp to send out emails. And there's a really important message in the story. So I want you all to listen to this right now. And MailChimp's a pretty basic email marketing platform, right? But I mean, his zone of genius is not using MailChimp. His zone of genius is applying the chiropractic adjustment. That's his zone of genius. And he's transformed thousands and thousands of lives over his career. So there was this one day years ago, and he wanted to send out this heartfelt message. I actually think it was on Chiropractic's birthday. So he hand wrote this email. That's what he does. He's even like types. So he hand wrote an email. He gave it to his office manager. She typed it up for him, sent it back to him. And all that he needed to do was just copy and paste the email into MailChimp to send it out. And guess what happened? 3 times over a 60-minute time frame, he sent out a mass email to 1,200 people with only a subject line. He couldn't figure out where to put the body copy. And you know how he felt? Like a complete loser, like just like a total loser. He's like, oh my goodness, I can't even send out an email, but here's the deal. No one goes to him as a chiropractor because he can send out emails through MailChimp. They go to him because he has this gift in his hands and in his heart, and he's able to unlock that within other people. That's why we built this. I mean, you all that are watching this live or watching the replay, your zone of genius is transforming people's lives. And every minute you spend outside of that is a minute that you're not transforming people's lives. And you do that through 2 specific mechanisms, the adjustment and through education, the spoken word. That's how you do it. And that's all that you should be doing. And anyone that's fiddling with anything outside of that is just stealing from their chance to transform lives. And that's exactly why we built this solution. And I really encourage you to register for this webinar. I'm sure you shared the link at this point, Jim. It's a free experience. It'll be about 30 minutes of demo time where I actually show you with Jim how to implement your 12-4-2-2-2 in less than 60 minutes for the whole year. That's not marketing hype. You're going to literally see me do it. And I'm going to answer all of your questions as well.
Well, I'm going to take a break quick and just recognize some of the people that are on the feed with us right now. We have Dr. Skip Weiss. He is part of my Inner Circle group. Love you guys. Tatum Cohen is on. Melody Watts is on. Kat Sarah.
That's my rock star. I love Melody. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have Dr. Aaron Corley on. We have Brandy Morgan. We have Matt Blaine. We have a lot of people that are watching right now. So thank you, Tristan Schaub, for being on as well. If you guys are finding value in this, please hashtag value in the comments section, just to know that you guys are getting some takeaways from what Jared and I are discussing today. If you guys are finding a lot of value in this, hit the share button right now so more people can see what we're talking about right now so they can register for this webinar that we're going to be doing on July 9th. And if you guys are watching this on replay, please hashtag replay to know that you made it this far into the interview with Jared and myself today, just to know that you guys are attending after the live event here today. So Skip says, love you too. So thank you so much, Skip, for being on with us today. Kat, Sarah, thank you for being on with us once again. Next thing we're going to talk about is the film that we created, Project Patient, and how we're going to get more people involved with that as a community education resource for these offices that we want to see expand outside their four walls and to grow. Let's talk about that a little bit and how this can be something that we can leverage into the chiropractic world.
Yeah, so here's the deal. We were talking about this, right? So you created this documentary. You invested a ton of hustle, and money. So it wasn't just hustle. It was a combination of them both, and pain and blood and sweat and love and all that, right? And to me, and you'll take this the right way because we were just talking about this, the ultimate failure of that film is if chiropractors are the only ones that watch it. Total flop. You shouldn't have done it. Spend your brilliance and genius elsewhere, Jim. That's not what you created this for, right? Like, you didn't just create this so that the people that are already drinking the Kool-Aid are like, let's drink some more, right? Like, they already get it. Right?
And Jared, it almost makes me cry thinking about that if it doesn't make an impact.
Yeah, right. Like, that wasn't the motivation. Like, chiropractors, the last thing that you need is just more like reinforcement that you're great. You have to know that already. Even if your self-esteem is weak, like, you need to know that you're amazing. The purpose behind this film was actually a marketing tool. I don't know if you realize that, right? Like, the purpose of this film is for you to have your patients watch it, not for you to watch it. Like, yeah, obviously watch it, but it's really for your patients. And what I say is watch it with your patients. So years ago, there was a film that came out called Doctored. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Doctored. And it was a big deal, but it was a big deal because lay people watched it, not because chiropractors watched it. And one of the reasons why so many lay people watched it is because of Conduit. we actually created a campaign that allowed chiropractors to host in-person movie screenings in their practice, at restaurants. We had one office that did it at a movie theater. They had like 600 people come. It was like literally craziness. And they hosted movie screenings. And at the end of the movie screening, the practitioner, the chiropractor, did an open Q&A to answer the question of the people in the audience because they had tons of questions. So that's the purpose of this film. So what are we doing? Well, during our webinar that we're hosting in a few weeks, we're going to show you a campaign that allows you to market your movie screening of this film to your community in less than 10 seconds. And what's going to happen is all that you need to do is put in the date and time of your screening. You need to put the location, which is either your place of business, maybe your home, maybe it's a movie theater, maybe it's the Chamber of Commerce, maybe it's the library, maybe you do it outside because it's the summer and you can do that. I don't care where you do it. You put in the location and you hit save. And then what happens? Marketing emails written in your voice that are proven copy are going to be sent out to your list, inviting people to register on a beautifully designed landing page with the trailer or the film already there. People are able to sign up. At least 10 social media posts are designed. They're branded to your practice, fully automated for you for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. are posting and directing people to that page to register for the experience. Marketing text messages are going out to your practice members, inviting them to register on their mobile device on that page for the experience. As people register, you're going to get 4 reminder emails and 2 reminder text messages with all of the details for the screening, where to go, what time to show up, and any other details that are important as well. You're also going to have flyers and save the date cards and posters that are generated, that are branded to you, that are beautiful with all the registration information on it. So you and your staff can hang it up around your practice, hand it out to your practice members, get into your community and share it with some thought leaders in your communities. Maybe there's wonderful health coaches or yoga studios or the PTA or religious bodies that you want to invite to come to hear this wonderful message. We have press releases for you to literally put inside of your paper and get local press. All of that is replicated, automated, and personalized to you in literally 10 seconds. We're going to showcase this during our webinar so that you can commit to doing a movie screening this summer and start to really educate people on what chiropractic is. And once again, the reason for this is because Jim did not create this film so that you can watch it and be excited. He created it so you can watch it with your community so they can start to get it and ask you better questions. Because at the end of the 55-minute film, they're going to have questions. They being lay people like me, like Jim, like normal people that are considering chiropractic care, and they're going to say, "Hey, Dr. John, like when the documentary said blank, what did that mean?" And then you, as Dr. John, like you have a chance to educate them. And we're going to have gift certificates you can hand out for them to come in for care. I mean, literally, this is a full-fledged marketing campaign around the film. And guess what? Inside of Synduit, just so you know this, there's literally hundreds. There's well over $1 million of content just for chiropractors. We've been doing this for so many years, but there's hundreds of campaigns. We're all going to get really focused and do this movie screening in the summer. And I hope that you're willing to join us for that journey. It's going to make a seismic difference in your practice. Jim and I are going to train on it. Things that you can do and say at the screening to get conversion, because there's no one better than Jim than selling this stuff. We're even going to host a challenge where Jim will do a live stream at your screening for the person that gets the most registrants for their workshop. I mean, this is going to be a big deal. And make sure you come to the webinar where Jim and I are going to show you what it is and how you can use this to build your business as well.
You know, you said some amazing things there, but one of the things I want to go back to is the grassroots effort on this, and it's building a community. And I think that so many times the chiropractor feels like they're on an island and they don't know how to have the community outreach that will bring people in. And I also think that bringing this film to these offices is going to give them one of those workshop experiences of the 4 that you tell them to do. They can do a workshop experience, and this is already built for them. So we're going to build a campaign for them that they can just take, implement, and grow their practice and their community with grassroots efforts, and they can position themselves as that expert. And they don't have to do the MailChimp thing. They don't have to do everything you're talking about that your father-in-law did. They don't have to send out like the same email with just a title that confuses people or confuses them. So With that being said, I just wanted to thank you so much for sharing your genius with our audience today. And I know that we're coming up on the edge of our time, and we are going to be hosting Jared here on a Chiro Hustle podcast directly after this episode. If you guys are finding value in this, once again, please hashtag value in the comments section. If you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay in the comments. And if you are one of those passionate promoters, please hit the share button right now so other people can see. Also, please attend the webinar. It's going to be on July 9th. I believe that's a Tuesday. Is there anything that we didn't cover, Jared, that you want to share with our audience before we jump off this one?
Show up for the webinar. And I mean that. And here's why. Like, I've been in this profession for so many years. I mean, I love it. I love it. And it also frustrates me, which is the reason I love it, because I'm like, we have to be further along, everybody. Like, we can't settle for where we're at. Like, there's so many people that just don't know what we know, but once they do, they're going to follow it and then share it. So come to this webinar, because what we're going to do on this webinar is show you how to implement what I just spoke about. Because I guarantee, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, you're excited about the prospect of having an annual marketing plan. Like, that concept jazzes you up. I mean, I speak to tens of thousands of businesses a year, and I ask all the time, how many of you in this room would love an annual marketing plan? 100%. It's like an irrefutable thing. Like, no one doesn't want one. No one's like, I stand against the marketing plan. Like, it's absurd, right? This is like one of those yes or yes questions. Like, everybody wants it. But I mean, less than 1% of businesses have actually done it, because I get it. It's a lot of work. And we've just streamlined the process because we did it to scratch our own itch. Like, we wanted to build our own plan. And then as we built it, we realized everybody needs this. So let's build a simple solution to let everybody build a marketing plan so they can just stay in their zone of genius. So during our webinar, we're going to show it to you, literally show you the simplicity of the system so that you could have your annual plan. And one of those strategies is going to be this movie screening, which is going to just be absolutely epic. And now Jim's blood, sweat, tears, and love will be used for the right reason. Because like we said before, the biggest flop for this film is if only chiropractors watch it. What makes this, extraordinary is, what if 5,000 chiropractors, maybe 10,000 chiropractors host a movie screening within the next 90 days? And what if those 5,000 chiropractors get, let's say, 10 people each to come to the screening? That's 50,000 people that are just now hearing the story, right? What if they get 20? That's 100,000 lay people. I mean, that's starting to make a massive difference. And that's the purpose of this film. Let's now mobilize it through you and through your efforts, so you get all the credit. You get the new patients, you get the love from the existing patients, you reactivate your patients, and you're really excited because you stayed in your zone of genius.
And you know what we do? We make it easy.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I really love about working with you, is you make all this easy. And that's the most important thing about being in synergy with you with Synduit, is you've created what Staples did, is created the easy button. And now you've created the multiple transition of easy buttons. So now we have multiple easy buttons inside of your systems. And this also hits two of the things you talked about: creating a patient appreciation event around the movie and creating a workshop around the movie. So now we've done two of these things in one event that's going to bring your community together. And I love the idea that it's such a grassroots effort that any chiropractor can do it. And you know what they don't have to do? Create more space. They don't have to go out of their way they don't have to go out of their way. They can host this at their clinics. And if they bring a friend to this movie, now we're going to multiply the effort that they're going to be able to do a marketing event. Yes, it's a marketing event showing this movie that's going to be organically driving people into you with the work that Jared and I have established for you. We've created the blueprint. You guys just have to go hit the start button, and then 55 minutes later, you are the expert in your room, and you're able to educate people, which is one of the most important things in chiropractic. That's why we've put our blood, sweat, and tears into these projects, is because education is one of the most important things that I found. When I met John DeMartini for the first time, he said one thing during his 2-hour talk is chiropractic needs more media leverage. And when he said that, I stood to be the last person in the room. And I said to him, Dr. DeMartini, I heard you say that we needed more media leverage in chiropractic. I'm making a film on chiropractic. Would you like to be in it? He's like, I'm available next Tuesday at 1 p.m. in this room number at the Ritz-Carlton. I would love to be in your movie, because we need to bridge the gap between the expert in the lay person, just like you and I. So thank you for sharing with us today. I know that what we're doing is going to make a huge impact in the chiropractic space. Thank you for the appreciation for what we're doing with Hustle, Jared. And I love the fact that you're doing things to make things easier for the chiropractor. With that being said, you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. See us on the next opportunity. That's the webinar on the 9th. And we're going to be doing a episode of Chiro Hustle with Jared directly after this. So stay tuned. And Jared, thank you so much for everything.
Appreciate you. Bye, everybody. See you in 2 weeks.
See you guys soon. Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.